I want to show you a place you go to dozens of times a day and never once remember coming back from. You're standing in line at the store, 3 people still ahead of you at the register, and then it happens. Your hand finds your phone before you decide to reach for it. Screen on, thumb swipes. Your eyes pass over something. Screen off. Phone goes back in your pocket. 4 seconds. Here's the strange part. You weren't there. Not for any of those 4 seconds. It wasn't distraction. It wasn't boredom. It was something else. And that something else is what I want to talk about. Let's rewind and watch it again, slowly, frame by frame. Because those 4 seconds hold something most people live through 10, 20, 50 times a day without ever catching it happen. First frame. The hand. Notice that it moves on its own. You didn't think I'll grab my phone. There was no decision. The gesture was already on its way before you showed up. This has a name. Scientists call it automaticity. When a movement is repeated so many times that it drops down out of the prefrontal cortex, the part that decides, into a deeper, older region of the brain, the basal ganglia. It's the same part that ties your shoe while you're talking about something else. It runs the whole habit without needing you. And here's what unsettles me. For tying a shoe, fine, it's wonderful not to have to think about it. Phone isn't a shoe. A phone is a window, and you opened and closed a window onto the entire world with nobody home to look through it. The screen lights up. There's something there, maybe a notification, maybe nothing. And here's the detail that gives the whole thing away. Often there's nothing new. You already know there's nothing new. And you look anyway. It isn't the information you want, it's the gesture. The gesture became the goal. If you noticed that just now and felt a small weight, that's me. Stay with me. Because this isn't a flaw in you. It's what every human brain does with anything it repeats enough. The people who catch this and decide to pay attention on purpose are a specific kind of person, and this channel exists for that kind of person. If that's you, you already know where the subscribe button is. The eyes. They pass over the screen, and they don't read, they scan. There's a huge difference between looking and seeing, and it lives right here. Your attention never got around to marking that moment as important. And that's why 10 minutes later, if someone asks were you just on your phone, you'll hesitate. Not because you're lying, because you genuinely don't have the memory. Memory needs attention to say keep this. And attention wasn't there to say it. That's the blackout. It isn't sleep. It isn't fainting. It's a tiny hole in your autobiography. 4 seconds that happen to your body but not to you. And now multiply it. One study tracked how many times people touch their phones over the course of a day. The number that came back was startlingly high, around 96 times on average. 96. If each of those touches carries its own little 4-second blackout, do the math on what disappears. It isn't just the minutes, it's the presence. Dozens of small gaps a day where life happened and you weren't in the room. You already know this feeling from somewhere else, by the way. Ever driven all the way home and as you park realized you can't remember a single block of the drive? Same thing. The hands steered, the feet braked, the lights got obeyed, and you were somewhere else the whole way. The phone in line is the pocket-sized version of that. Except you do it 96 times a day, not once. So let me ask the question that started all of this. Now that we've watched it frame by frame, that you who vanished for 4 seconds, where did you go? The uncomfortable answer is nowhere. It isn't that you went off somewhere. It's that nobody stayed. The gesture ran itself and the light of awareness simply wasn't pointed at it. You didn't get pulled away from a better place. You just didn't show up. But there's something good hidden in here. And that's why I wanted to show you. The blackout only exists because nobody ever pointed the light at it, and you just did. Now once you've seen it, it's hard to unsee. Next time your hand goes for your pocket in line, there's a good chance part of you wakes up mid-gesture and says, oh, the 4 seconds. You don't have to stop using your phone, you just have to be there when you do. That's the whole thing. And if this landed for you, send it to that one person who's always got an eye on their screen. Not as a dig, as a small gift. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is hand back 4 seconds they didn't know they were losing. Now that you've caught this one, there's another hiding right next to it, in the way you reread a text you already sent, looking for something that isn't there. That's the next one. I'll meet you in the next tiny awakening.